live with coverage you can count on. This is News 2 Midday.
Hey there, thank you for joining us here on News 2 Midday. I'm Brad Franco. We are monitoring breaking news in the Michael Slager case. Jury deliberations continuing here this morning. News 2's Rebecca Collette, who's been covering the trial since it started, is live for us in downtown. A flurry of activity here to get things started, Rebecca, with more motions being put forth and more questions.
Yeah, Brad, and the big revelation that came out this morning is that a majority of these jurors are still undecided. That's what they wrote in their note to the judge this morning. And then with that note, 5 questions came out today. Why manslaughter was offered, what is provocation, what is imminent danger, what is a forethought with murder, and how much time has to be included in that. And then the final question deals with self-defense and if it applies to a cop differently than an ordinary person like you and me. The state fires back saying, hey, these are good questions, we're going to work on the answer. The defense comes back and says, we need a mistrial, pointing back to Friday, as we've reported about that note where one of the jurors said, I will not be able to convict Michael Slager. We were under the impression when we left here Friday that there was one juror dissenting from the others. Well, that is not the impression that we leave the courtroom with this morning. It sounds like there are several, at least more than this one guy, who say they cannot convict him, or at least they're still undecided. The state saying, okay, judge, go back, give them some less formal language and try to explain the law a little bit better. Scarlett Wilson, the solicitor, saying clearly these jurors are asking for help. The judge responds to both the state and the defense, and basically what he says is he cannot declare a mistrial, so he denies that motion. He says it's obvious that these jurors are still deliberating, and so it is the court's obligation to the jury to come back and give them answers. So where we stand right now, we're in a break, we're in a recess, and the state and the defense are pulling together some answers and some case law around the state of South Carolina to help give a better, clearer picture to these jurors and some answers to these questions. So what we were thinking could be a resolution today, it seems with 5 questions coming from the jurors and several still not decided, we could be in it for the long haul today. Day 4 of deliberation, the beginning of week 6 in this trial. Brad, I'm downtown Charleston this morning. Rebecca Collette, News 2.
Becky, the conversations this morning also kind of took a different turn there right at the end of this first session this morning when Andy Savage was asking about the procedure and whether the jury's breaking that when it comes to considering manslaughter without ruling out murder, because in his mind, he said the original instructions said they had to rule out murder first. What did the judge have to say about that?
He didn't say anything, Brad. And this has been a real sticking point for the defense, is that they felt like essentially this was the state's way of just throwing spaghetti on the wall and seeing what sticks. They're saying, the defense is saying that the state's case was unraveling, so they had to bring in this extra charge, and they have been opposed to it since that happened. So another sticking point, perhaps an opportunity for appeal should there be a conviction here this morning. There have been several issues in this case that are just totally outside the bounds of what you normally see in a trial. Sending a jury back 3 and 4 times after that Allen charge is very strange. Getting the note from one juror, also very strange. And something else that happened this morning that was a little bit different that the defense pointed out is that those questions came from a different juror based on the handwriting. They said they could tell this wasn't coming from the foreman, although the foreman signed off on those questions. So we're getting a picture of what's going on back in that jury deliberation room, but also some new ground being set here in this trial.
Confusion, it sounds like, back there, and people who were thinking that we might have a quicker resolution this morning could be in for a long day. Thank you, Rebecca. We'll let you get back in there because they should be getting back in here into session very soon.